So just coming to the big data issue, one of the things I've often seen in big data, we talk about it all the time, but if you're sitting there, let's imagine Prime Minister of Australia and you've got the chance to think about data, what would your sort of high level thoughts be for government?
Well, I would say, one would be the default setting of government needs to be open, transparent, and participatory. And what I mean by that is there's a whole host of data that the government owns right now. And you could unleash massive innovation in the economy if you democratize that data. It is the digital fuel of the 21st century. So you can get entrepreneurs to start building billion-dollar companies on top of that government data. And we recognize that that data that's being democratized will create value when there's intersection between public and private sector data, right? So if you think about even the data from the weather service or satellite that's kind of available, all of a sudden you get all these apps that have been built and companies that are worth billions of dollars that could never have existed without that government data.
Right.
Second is around fighting corruption. The ability to be able to see how your government is operating, how much money is being spent, real-time data on credit cards and where government employees are charging government credit cards. It will allow you to actually hold your government accountable. Third, the ability for agencies to start sharing data, right, in ways that will enable you to create seamless services so that you can actually abstract the very notion of central government, state government, and local government. If you're an entrepreneur, why should you have to get a license from your local government and the state and then the central government, right? If you're applying for benefits, why should you have to navigate the maze of government? Right? When you have this open data and the ability to create this new generation of services, it fundamentally transforms not just the government, but also the economy, because you can enable and unleash entrepreneurship.
Right. So for agencies sitting there thinking, yes, I want to be part of this, what advice do you have around the sort of data proposition? Because I think a lot of them are looking at it and struggling to find a business case under the current way we think about it, to be honest. They struggle to find a business case to even put together an open set of data. What's your advice to them?
So I would say that's the wrong approach to think about it, right? Because it presumes you know the answers to all the problems, okay, right? I think you need to approach it from a completely different lens, which is you need to be able to believe in the principle that your government should be open, transparent, and participatory. If you believe in that principle, you need to recognize that you will put out that data and an entrepreneur somewhere in Australia will find amazing value. I mean, I'll give you an example in terms of the case in the United States. There was Department of Labor data that was put out, and the Department of Labor, some of the folks were like, who will use this? It's useless data. But this entrepreneur came in and created a company called Brightscope, which is worth millions of dollars. And they were able to actually use that data to score 401k plans. Right. And they built a business out of it, right? So part of it is to think about that data almost like a grocery store. Right. And you have no idea what restaurants are going to be built, but you're providing the raw ingredients to create innovation. I think it's not smart to think about it in terms of what is the right business case and how do I justify it. Think about just healthcare data, right? If you democratize that healthcare data, the ability then to build applications that can allow you to compare outcomes before you walk into a hospital. So you could see, well, what is the outcome if you get a knee replacement in this hospital versus another hospital? How do people rate this doctor versus another doctor? You create a level of transparency that will fundamentally change the way services are delivered and, frankly, the economy.
Right. That's been fascinating, Vivek. Thank you very much for your time. We're very privileged to have him here today, and thank you, and hope you enjoy your visit to Australia.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.